Hello friends, I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is good, and we are raw today. I was good. Anyway. No backup audio. We're going with just the new mic box straight into the camera, and that's it. So hopefully, watching the audio meter on the camera, this seems to be less peaky than it was yesterday. So we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't sound like crap right now. I went to game night last night, which I got to pick up the two things that my friend brought back for me. One of those was the Kickstarter components for Earth. That's basically just wooden bits, wooden soil, player leaves, player markers, and first player thing. But it also had a pack of, I think, like 12 calendar cards. So there's one for each month. And you kind of shuffle those up, put one out at the beginning of the game, and that affects all players. It's like a little thing. I don't know that I'll use that a whole lot, but it's a nice ad. I really just wanted the wooden bits. But the second thing I got was a card game called Forest Shuffle. Came home last night, took it for a little test drive. It's a pretty neat little game. It's kind of a rummy-ish thing. I'll probably end up doing a video on it, I assume. I think it's going to be regular in the rotation, and so, you know, when I do board game content, I want to do games that I'm excited about, and so it kind of is one of those. But along those lines, in thinking about talking about this today, I now have this split personality because I want to talk about games, but how do I do that here? What, like, is this content that should be on the gaming channel? Probably, but this is adjacent. Why not? So Forest Shuffle is a game where you're building a forest. And in Earth, you're building a planet, and, you know, in Forest Shuffle, there's trees. So anyway, the point is, I have heard from many people, overheard conversations about how people are just over the whole nature theme, and they're tired of birds and nature-themed games, and I disagree. I think that I could take 1,000,000 of those and be super, super happy about it. I think that the planet and the wildlife and the nature and the plants and the animals and all of the things that encompass our home is super interesting. And I could take all of the nature games. I would, I would take a nature theme over a sci-fi theme any day of the week. And I grew up as a sci-fi fan, but I think there's something comfortable about the nature-themed games that means I don't have to learn an IP, right? I don't have to, you technically don't have to give any craps about what it would take to settle Mars, to play Terraforming Mars, but the theme, in my opinion, doesn't interest me at all. I don't give a crap about the theme, right? And so if that game were themed as a ants colonizing, whatever, or the plight of the whales, or like, I would probably be much more interested in it. And that's the case with when Ark Nova came around. I thought, well, this is kind of Terraforming Mars adjacent, and it's a better theme in my opinion. I'm much more interested. Like, I've learned stuff from that game. I could say I've learned stuff from Terraforming Mars, but it's not really stuff I care about because it's so far removed from me. It's hard for me to say that's something that interests me. So the nature theme, I'm all for it. And this one in particular feels a little bit like Morels, which is one of my favorite two-player games. I really love playing Morels. It feels a little bit like kind of some of the mystery rummy type stuff, Mike Fitzgerald's games, which I absolutely love. So it's a good fit, and the theme works. The theme makes sense. As you're building your forest, you're planting trees, and you're putting out stuff. So it's a cool little card game. I'm hoping that Em will like it, and we'll get to play it bunches in rotation with all the other stuff. We've still been playing Imperial Miners and Earth pretty much exclusively. So I'll be doing the Earth video soon. It might not be until next week that I release it, so I might do something this weekend in between. I'm trying to figure out like, I'm not trying to set a schedule of content, but I would like to keep things continuous. I have no interest in streaming, so I'm not going to be one of those content people. But maybe I could do some like quick little YouTube live type things with shorts or whatever. But I'm not going to be doing hour streams or playing games on stream or anything like that. So I'm trying to figure out how do I make more content without running out of my collection, right? My collection has been trimmed to around 100 games, so that only gives me, that gives me just a small window of time, I guess. And that's it, assuming I want to do a video on all 100. I don't. Like, there is games in there that I don't really need to do a video on. Things like dominoes or, I don't know, dominoes. So I'm trying to figure out if there's room for other content like this could fit on that channel where we talk about themes. We talk about maybe games in a genre, games that share a common mechanic or something like that. Maybe there's room for those types of discussions. I just have to find that, and I'm not sure what that is yet. So I thought I'd talk about it here first. I am all for nature themes. Bring it on. Whatever it is. Obviously, they're not all great. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to like a game just because it has a nature theme. But I think that it's a very relatable theme and something that interests me. And I obviously my opinion is mine, and I'm not trying to say that science fiction games are garbage. That's not the case at all. And to another person, science fiction games might be their jam. Like, that's everything for them, and they don't really care about nature. But for me, I'm here for it. Like, I think nature is a super accessible theme. And I think that's, the cool thing about a game like, say, since we're talking about For a Shuffle, we'll stick with that. And I know I haven't told you about it yet, and it's not a lot of information out there. It's an accessible game that I could teach to just about anybody, and it's a theme that is so neutral that just about anybody could enjoy it, right? Whereas if I sat down with, I would put it on a initial complexity. Like, the introduction to the game is there's a lot of intricate iconography that you have to kind of work through, and it's confusing. Like, I don't want to say like Race for the Galaxy, but any of the more recent icon based games, it's like that. If I were to put out, let's just go with Race for the Galaxy and say those are comparable, they're not, but they are. I would have a much harder time getting people to say, yeah, I'll play this spaceship game. But if I put out cute animals and trees, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, or you know what? You could call me and leave a voicemail. I put the number at the end of every one of these episodes. Call me. Say hi. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you again tomorrow.